All right, well, I am Michael King from Massachusetts Family Institute, and today I am joined by Dr. Adam Rondeau from Viewpoint Christian Academy and Carlos and Carolina. They're from Virginia, from Free to Worship Learning Center. And what we want to do is take the next 10 minutes and we want to explain to you a vision for an alternative type of quote unquote school we're calling a learning center, right? And teachers we're calling coaches. And we just find this example to be so intriguing, very simple, in a way that a church can step into this space where there's such an immediate need for so many parents looking for an alternative to the public school. And so Carlos and Carolina and Dr. Adam Rondeau, I think, are doing fantastic work to really bring the church into this space and in a very simple, effective, and inexpensive way that really meets the need of kids that come from single parent homes, kids that come from double working parent homes, pretty much any situation, this system, this approach works. So welcome to you guys, and let's get into this. So the Free to Worship Learning Center, again, I mentioned, is in Virginia. You guys have about 40 members at your church. You started your school this year, last September. As I understand it, it took you only really 2 months to kind of get trained and then open your doors as of September. So again, I want pastors to know, this isn't something that takes a ton of work to kind of get all up and running. It's not this bureaucratic, quote unquote, school, right? This is a simple learning center. And the idea, just to give it to you pastors, is all students are going to register as homeschoolers, okay? And that's what makes this a simple process. You're not becoming a school. You're just taking the space that you have and using that for kids to come into and use, right? And we talked about the space at your church, guys, and we'll get to some questions here. I think you have a 49 seat capacity room, maybe 3 major rooms there at the church. It's not a super big space, but you've been able to accommodate 6 kids this year from 3rd grade to senior to high school, and the next year you're going to add K through 2nd. So this is really exciting, and looks like you guys are doing an awesome job down there. So why don't Carolina and Carlos, why don't you just kind of give us a brief kind of description of, as pastors, right? You saw this need, and what was it that really inspired you to do this in your community?
Thank you, Michael. My name is Pastor Carlos Frias. We are here in Virginia, in the city of Newport News, and our congregation name is Iglesia Libres para Adorar, Free to Worship. Nosotros, we are bilingual. That's the thing. Sure. But yes, we are home. We have our children being as educated as homeschooling. For us was always being a great opportunity to offer our own children this kind of education. We see what is outside in the public school, and that really keep us scared, if you could say, as people who fear God, who wants our children to success and do well. We wanted to give them the best thing. So we started doing homeschooling education, and but also my wife had that passion to share with others. At the moment we started, we couldn't do that, but as the opportunity arrived, we started getting in contact with Viewpoint, and my wife can say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Carolina, if you could tell us, now you are the main proctor, you're the main coach this year for the 6 children, and it really spans from 3rd grade to, I believe you said, 11th grade. And I think you're offering the ACE program, which is an independent learning program, and then also the Alpha Omega in the high school. Tell us about your experience as a proctor. Are you intimidated at all, having to proctor 3rd through 11th grade children?
My experience as a main coach here, I would say that I believe the Lord had prepared me way before we started the Learning Center on September. And I believe all the process as a homeschool mom, the Lord was preparing me for this new journey that was about to come. And he was putting it in my heart, like my husband saying, a passion. He was putting it in my heart, that need to be able to share it with others. And once we started the Learning Center here, partnership with Viewpoint Christian Academy, I believe that everything was something that the Lord has already prepared me for, and I was able to really see how wonderful it is to really have these students and have this type of environment in a church where they are able to do the school education and be able to grow in the Lord, also and able to learn academically, and they can grow and master all the things that they have to learn all together. And I believe in everything, and overall it has been a very joyful experience. And at the same time, I was able to learn new concepts every day as I saw that question to Adam from Viewpoint Christian Academy regarding to situation, what should I do? How can I help these students? Things like that. So it's always a big help was having a mentor to be able to lead me through. And, as we went through this new journey, and above all, it has been a very wonderful experience.
Yeah, and you guys have really never done anything like this before, right? And so to have the backing of Viewpoint Christian Academy, Dr. Adam Rondeau, offering you the training, a lot of back end stuff that would come with the traditional school they take care of. So I want to switch gears here to Dr. Adam Rondeau and just talk about the experience with Free to Worship Learning Center here. What you offer them, and to someone listening that says, hey, sounds like I can do this. Speak to the concern, that people might have of transcripts and grading and training and all these different things that, they might seem overwhelmed with. Oh, sorry. I think for some reason I don't have your voice. I don't know why.
No, how about now?
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
It's
All right.
the world of Zoom, where saying you have to unmute yourself is now a cliche, if you will, in our culture.
Yeah. No, it's been a joy to work with the folks down in Real Life Learning. Free to Worship Learning Center. Yeah. And they've been a real blessing. So what we offer is essentially the full school experience that we can from a distance. So we offer record keeping, we offer curriculum. The curriculum that we provide is from vendors that would be individualized, master-based. There's no lesson prep involved. It's not like somebody has to take a minute, and, with the exception of perhaps kindergarten, where there's a lot more interaction. But beyond that, there's no lesson prep involved. It's all just laid out in a matter of working through. So what we do is we try to partner with the churches and say, look, we can train you on good ways to implement for group learning together. So we work with each family on an individual level. We provide the curriculum, we provide the back end, the sources, the record keeping, the support, all of these different things. And then we come alongside the church and we try to help them to implement a program where they can bring a group of students together and minister to each student one-on-one, discipling them through their work, and helping them to achieve the goals that they have. So it's really just a pleasure to do so.
Yeah, and I just want to, reiterate to pastors, again, families are working with Viewpoint in this regard, or with ACE, or with Alpha Omega, like they're working with these vendors aside from the church, right? The church is just providing a space. You know, you're not becoming a school, okay? You're just using your space, and it's just like having somebody that would have registered as a homeschooler anyway. They're just coming to your space, you know, for 4 or 5 days. In this case, 4 days, and now you guys have actually upped it to 5 days because you really want to take the extra time as we're getting closer to the end of the school year to really finish up items and such. And you already do field trips, you know, once a month you talked about, and PE classes, and, you know, things like that. So yeah, Dr. Armando, is there any other, you know, points you'd like to mention just regarding this experience for this particular school, and speaking to pastors that are thinking about this option?
Yeah, you know, you mentioned 4 days or 5 days, and really there's a lot of flexibility for the church. They can do 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 3 days, hybrid, whatever, because again, they're forming opportunities for education to take place, and whatever works for their schedule, whatever works for their facilities, you can do it. The options are endless for this type of program that you can implement into your church to just give kids the opportunity and the option.
And Carlos and Carolina, I mean, what do you see as your vision, you know, going into your second year next year? You've had such a great experience this year with the 6 children. How many kids do you expect for next year? And also, do you see this being a ministry to a community where, you know, you're going to attract not just only kids from your church, but also maybe kids that are not from a church to come in and be a part of this this learning center?
Yes, as right now we have six students, and we're looking into having about 15 kids. That'd be our top goal. But definitely we started with the congregation. We offer that opportunity to the local congregation, and so far that's what we have. And definitely coming into this new year, as God allows, we want to expand it to people in the community, and of course it is a great opportunity that all churches want to be exposed to the community, and bringing let them to know us, and that we are here offering something that we know is going to benefit the community and their children, and at the same time, why not share the gospel with them?
Yeah. And Carolina, anything you want to add here as we're wrapping things up, just regarding, you know, your experience with this learning center, and how you envision the future of this learning center?
I'm with the Lord's help, I'm visioning in a way that there's a purpose for every student that the Lord will allow for us to have with them. Each and one of them have a calling, I would say that. And that is a way that the Lord would use to help them to grow into the woman, the man of God that the Lord is looking forward to use in the future. And I believe that's the purpose of all this learning center being offered in such a small space where we just started, you know, having to put the table in the sanctuary and make it just like a dance for every student. And by the end of that week, just put it back. You know, it just, by starting that way and starting with 6 students, I believe the Lord has something much greater than that. And just instilling in them the way that He wants them to grow, and just, you know, go forward in the future, and, you know, into the calling that the Lord has for them. And I believe it's a way that God is preparing them for this generation that are in such a need to grow in a way that they are purposed to grow in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so inspired by your story. You know, look, you guys have in terms of space, right? You probably have a smaller space, right? 49 people capacity, but, and you guys, you know, immigrants to this country, you know, but you've been able to understand how to do this in a whole new culture, right? And now you want to grow to 15 kids next year. You know, you started as a 3rd through 11th grade solution or 12th grade solution, and now next year you're going to be a kindergarten through 12th grade solution. You know, this is a solution that works for the single parent, like we said, right? Or for the, you know, for the 2 working family, where literally kids are being dropped off at your learning center at what, 8 o'clock, I think you said, and the day ends at 2:30, right? So very much in the space of a traditional school that the church is now looking to. You know, I think about a church here in Massachusetts had 40 kids in their first year this year. The pastor said 75% of those 40 kids were from outside the church that are coming to his school. And so what an opportunity the church has to just, you know, so many parents are disenfranchised with the public school, whether it comes to critical race theory, whether it comes to comprehensive sex education, social emotional learning, you know, and the list goes on. You know, the violence in our schools, the anti-parent kind of attitude in our schools. I mean, we could go on, right? So I'm just so encouraged to hear your story, and I hope that pastors watching this, you know, will be inspired as well. I know they'll be inspired. And I did want to, Dr. Rondeau, if you could show some pictures just so our pastors can see the school, see, you know, picture tells 1,000 words, right? So what does it look like at Free to Worship Learning Center down there in Virginia? You know, you guys go on field trips to the local museum, and you go, you have obviously a nice facility there with some fields, it looked like, and some, you know, sports that you can do. I think you said you have a PE class. It was either once a day, or what was it? The PE class was once a day. Was that correct, Carlos and Carolina? Was you offer PE once a day?
Yes, PE classes once a week on Tuesdays.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as a previous PE instructor, you got to make that 4 or 5 days a week. Okay. No, but that's great. So you could see here as we're going through these pictures, you know, some field trips, it looks like, and just, you know, it looks like you guys are really creating an enjoyable culture. I mean, is it fair to say that the kids at your school are having a good time this year?
Definitely. And the thing is that, as you were saying, the each day starts with devotional,
Yeah.
with the pledge to the flag, to the Bible, and we kind of putting that in the core of each a child, that God has to be first, and before anything starts, we bring we start to put that culture in our children, and we know for sure this is going to make the difference in their life as they grow up. Definitely, we think that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, let's just take one last minute. We didn't really talk about the financials of this. I know that's going to be a question for a lot of pastors. So you guys had mentioned you charge a $50 donation, $50 donation, suggested donation per month for 10 months as kind of like to help afford the facility. Okay. And then next year, as you expand to kindergarten, that monthly suggested donation will go to about $179 per month for 10 months because, you know, you want to have a full-time coach in the kindergarten, right? Are you finding that, you know, this is affordable and parents are, you know, saying, you know, glad that, you know, that this is going to work for their budget?
Based on our research in the area of Newport News, we are actually located in Newport News, Virginia. So we did a research on private schools here in the city of Virginia. And also we did a research of school that uses the ACE curriculum in the state of Virginia. And one of the best school that uses the ACE curriculum, they are located in Richmond. So they charge about $360 a month per student. So we believe that we have, by setting it up to $179, will be very economically for parents to be able to afford and be able to have the opportunity that they have not had before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
And I
other
think
thing
also, oh, go ahead, Carlos.
yeah, for the group of parents that we have, so far they is something that they see affordable. So in that sense, with the people that we are actually working with, when we brought up these the financial, they feel very comfortable with that, with those payments as well. As you said, in our case, we want to help as much as we can, and it is a donation. If for some reason they are not able to provide it, to be able to afford it, we will do all that we can for fundraising. But we want to give to our community, because we know if we invest in the children, that's the next generation, that's the next church.
Yeah.
And as much as we can, we want to extend our hands.
And Dr. Rondeau, any final comments from you?
Yeah, I would just say that, just in closing, that Jesus said to Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. Sheep don't eat out of hands. They don't eat out of bowls. They need a field in which to graze. And what children really need is an environment that is safe and that will lead them to Christ, and that they can learn about the things of God. And I think churches have a unique opportunity to just start feeding the little lambs and start feeding the sheep. And I would say to any pastor, do what you can. If you can't do 5 days a week, do 2 days a week, do 3 days a week, do something, offer your facilities in any way that you can, and just take advantage of this opportunity that is available to us right now. In partnership with Viewpoint, we'd love to, but if you don't, hey, I'll talk to you, I'll help you in any way I can, because this is just how passionate we are about the need right now. So
yeah, no, that's great. Just repeat that. I mean, this is an unprecedented opportunity. COVID presented this opportunity, right? I always say in 2020, 37,000 kids left the public school in the first year of COVID. 4,000 went to parochial schools, and the vast majority went to homeschool. And I think a lot of homeschool families that are new are looking for an opportunity where they can congregate with other families, right, and fulfill that social need for their children, but also, very high academic need. And, to have a parent like Carolina here that, look, I mean, she's the proctor of 3rd grade through 11th grade, right? And I think, Carolina, I don't think you mentioned that you were like a trained teacher. You don't have like a teaching degree from what I understand, but did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, we actually, I have a bachelor in psychology, but it's not teaching. My main BA is not on teaching. So
Okay.
basically, the experiences on this, on being the main coach in the Learning Center is all through personal experiences.
Great.
Just learning through experiences, learning through how the Lord brings opportunity into our hands. So what I can say is that this is doable. Yes, it can be done. It can be done, and all we need is just the passion for our next generation, that passion for what is going on in the education arena, outside, right? And being able to be a voice for those that need that voice, and be able to stand up in such a time as this. Yeah.
Man, well, I'm inspired, and I know that so many pastors, will be inspired by your story down there in Virginia. Pastors, if you need to contact us at MFI, Dr. Adam Rondeau at Viewpoint Christian Academy, so many great resources for you to answer any questions. We were just hoping to take some time today to just kind of show you the vision, give you a church that's doing it, and really just show that this is a simple, solution. I mean, Dr. Rondeau has been thinking about this for, I think, the past 20 years, and he's got a great template that he's put together, that we're happy to, his heart is to consult you, at no cost, so definitely take advantage of that, because we just want to see churches step into this harvest field that is really ripe. We talk about training up children so they will not depart from the faith that they have been presented with as a young person, and Dr. Rondeau said the other day, I forget the percentage, but if someone's going to believe in the Lord, they're going to do that before the age of 18. And I think the stat, pastors, better than I do, but I think it's like 80-90%, right, of people that come to the Lord do that before they're 18. So this is great, and we hope you'll take advantage of it. So again, please reach out to us. You have my cell phone number, my email address, and we'd love to help you take this next step to learn how you can be a learning center and a coach in your community. Thanks so much.